Welcome to the Copywriter training, where you guys are going to learn how you can actually make 10K a month with copywriting, even if you're a complete beginner right now. And hopefully you can do these tricks and everything I show you here to go beyond that. Now, for those of you guys who have attended, I have special bonuses for only those of you who have attended and are going to stay till the end. So if you are able to stay till the end, that would be absolutely amazing. And I'll give you my 12 emails that have made me over $5 million. You guys can just get the downloadable template, plug and play, change the copy, use it for your clients or use it for your own business. I'll show you guys the cold DM I sent to Alex Hormozy, and he essentially ended up becoming my business mentor, and I ended up bringing in over 300K in profit just from his advice through one cold DM. I don't know if you guys know Alex Hormozy, can you give me a little thumbs up? I just want to kind of see if you guys know who he is or if he's just like a random person to you. He's on the left over here. Okay, if you know him, great. If you don't, he's a very great resource on YouTube for you guys to learn from. Awesome. I sent a cold email. I'll be sharing this with you as well to the founder of Speechify. His company is worth over $100 million, and it was a cold email. He replied to it, and then we ended up becoming amazing friends, and I learned so much about cold Facebook ads from him. That's actually how I even have you guys here, from cold Facebook ads. And then I'll show you guys a cold Twitter DM. And when I say cold, it just means I'm sending a message to somebody who does not know me, who has never met me. Does that make sense to you guys, what cold is? Fantastic. So this cold Twitter DM has made me over $1.5 million in 3 months. And I'll be giving you guys this at the end of the training as well, if you stay attended. And this cold DM, believe it or not, actually ended up getting me 100 dates in 24 hours, okay? So whatever your goal is, okay, whether you're trying to go on 100 dates in 24 hours, you're trying to make money, you're trying to make a best friend, you're trying to get a mentor, this can help you do it. So if you guys stay till the end, I promise I'm gonna just give you guys all of this. Would that be valuable for you guys? Yes or no? Thumbs down, thumbs up. You can be honest. You can be like, this sucks. Do not want this. Okay, fantastic. So we're getting a bunch of people giving some thumbs up. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, beautiful. With that said, let's get into today's training. So where do we see copy? Okay, copy is everything. So even when I was showing you guys this, sending a cold DM, guys, is copywriting. I'm sending somebody a written message that gets them to do something and take an action, okay? A Twitter DM is copywriting. This LinkedIn post over here is copywriting. And look at this, it got Justin Welsh 2,000 likes, 80 shares, 800 comments, and he makes millions of dollars just writing, okay? Elon Musk, this is another thing, this is also copywriting, okay? When you see a Twitter post from somebody, it's copywriting. So we see copywriting everywhere. When you see a Facebook ad, okay, this is copywriting. Whether this is a Facebook ad you've seen from us, a Facebook ad you've seen from another company, Instagram captions. When you're looking at captions, okay, when you write captions or you see other people's captions, that's copywriting. Sending an email to somebody, that is copywriting. Opt-in page that you land on, okay? Everybody recognizes this page from a few days ago. Maybe you were really busy, you're doing something, you saw an ad on your phone from this weird guy with the pink shirt, you clicked on it, you landed on this page, you're like, I don't know what this is, opt-in, okay? This is copy. And then, you know, an Airbnb listing, that's also copy. So whatever it is most of these things, right? The backbone of almost all of these things is copywriting. Now, one interesting thing I want to tell you about copywriting, and I will share this with you through real life. So, does everybody here just kind of understand what sales is? You've heard of sales, you understand what sales is. For example, you've seen a salesman trying to sell a car, right? Somebody on a phone call with you or somebody face-to-face with you. That's a sale. So let's actually differentiate what's the difference between sales, phone call, and copywriting. So on sales, here are the things I have. If I am trying to sell Ellie on something, I'm on a call with her, and what are all the things that I have on my disposal? Or let's say I'm sitting with you, Ellie, face-to-face. What are all the things I have at my disposal? I could see Ellie's expressions, okay? So I can see her expressions. I can hear her voice tonality, meaning like Does she sound scared and reserved, or does she sound like she's really excited? Like, for example, right now, Ellie's really excited to be on this webinar, right? So I can actually see the voice tonality as well. Here's another nice thing that happens when I'm on a sales call is I can actually have a back and forth conversation with her. So there's a back and forth here. Conversation, there we go. So for example, if Ellie has an objection and she's like, I don't want to buy this because of XYZ. If I'm right there with her, I can actually overcome that objection because it's a conversation, okay? So if we go back to our screen share real quick, Amanath, here's a good example. So focus on the left-hand side image for sales. So this is what sales is like. I make a move and I talk, and then my opponent makes a move and talks back or throws me their objection. And then I make my move and I handle the objection. That's sales. And here's the crazy thing about copywriting, you guys. Let me actually put copy here. There's nobody on the other side. That's insane. You're playing chess and you have to make moves, and you have to imagine the moves that your opponent is making, and you have to play moves back to counteract their moves that you never saw that they made, and you have to overcome their objections, and you have to resonate with them, and you have to relate with them, and you have to do all these things without having an opponent. Which one is kind of harder? In my personal opinion, copywriting is harder, because the extreme case scenario of sales, somebody could hold you at gunpoint and make you buy. Copywriting, you don't have such a thing. You can't force somebody to buy, okay? Because you don't get to see their expressions. When you write the copy, you're basically just looking at a Google Doc, and that's the best thing you see. So you literally have to mind read, okay? Now, if you're really good at mind reading, guess what benefit you're gonna get? Your relationships are gonna start lasting longer, right? Because now you can mind read your spouse and your partner, which is what they've been wanting you to do the whole time. It's so simple. Anyways, so the only weapon you have as a copywriter are words. And so, Amanat, I'm gonna bring up a next point, which is you have to literally be a ninja, okay? When you're doing copywriting, you have to be a ninja. And in my mind, when you're doing sales, you have like a rocket launcher, you have a shotgun, you have a sword, you have all these weapons. When you're doing copywriting, you have almost nothing. So take a look at this. This is who you have to be when you're copywriting. Look at how this man from Kill Bill reads that she's coming in to attack him with a sword, and he jumps up and stands on the sword. That's who you have to become when you're writing copy. And those are the things that you actually have to learn. So, with that said, now that we kind of understand more of what copywriting like is and isn't, let's kind of get more deeper into copywriting, okay? So let's talk about like what is fundamentally copywriting. So I'm gonna just say like what it is. So the main thing with copywriting is, how is it different than regular writing? Can any of you tell me what's the difference between just regular writing? Imagine you're reading an article that talks about the news. Imagine that you're reading a history book. What's the difference between writing and copywriting? So I'm trying to get you to act, okay? So for example, if I tell you dinosaurs were born millions of years ago, the end, is that writing or is that copywriting? Which one is it? That is writing, right? That's regular writing. Now, if I'm like, did you know that if you actually develop muscles, you will die a lot less? So here's what I want you to do. Can you just get up and do one push-up right now? Is that regular writing or is that copywriting? That's the difference. I'm trying to get you to act, okay? And generally speaking, my goal is to get somebody to buy. And I wrote big words because Naz loves big words on the whiteboard. He was yelling at me yesterday for writing very tiny words. And I'm tired of getting yelled at. So there you go. Okay, copywriting, fantastic. You guys nailed it. So now, buying is what we're effectively trying to get somebody to do, okay? But there are other things that work as copywriting too. For example, getting somebody to like your post, getting somebody to share your post, getting somebody to reply to your post. But now let's actually come to real world examples of copywriting as well, okay? Ultimately, it's persuasion. So I'll give you real world examples. Before you looked at LinkedIn posts and it's only for Twitter and it's only for this. In real life, you're persuading and you have to copywrite. For example, if you're trying to convince somebody in your family to go watch a particular movie, that's copywriting. And this is a big hack. If you want to get good with copywriting, play these little games, okay? See if you can get people to choose the movie that you want to see. You don't have to do this all the time, but once in a while is okay. Have people pick the restaurant that you want to go to. So if you're in a group, can you get multiple people to see that, and don't use authority, by the way. Authority is like a pretty weak thing that you do. So if you're like, I'm your dad, you have to listen to me. But if you can actually reason with your friends or your kids or your parents or whoever, and you can get them to see that this is the restaurant that's best, and they go, you're working on your persuasion and copywriting skills. Because then copywriting ultimately is you sit down, you write them into words, you can blast it out to multiple people, and they will actually do what you want them to do. Does that make sense? Fantastic. Yes, copywriting is personalized. Very good addition there. So movie, restaurant, you want to go outside somewhere, you can pick a spot. And all of those things, in my opinion, are the fundamental building blocks of copywriting. Cool. So we're getting somebody to take action. Okay, so it's action versus info. You and I are not in the information business. We want somebody to buy. We want somebody to go on a date. We want somebody to actually hear us out. We want somebody to become our friend. We want somebody to mentor us, etc., etc. So like, we're in the business of taking action, or we want somebody to change their lives, right? Like we want, for example, for me, it's been a pain in the ass for me to get my mom to start working out. And she, is developing all kinds of health problems because of not doing that, like obesity, arthritis, like heart problems, etc. And so a lot of my life has been trying to convince her. And funnily enough, as I started becoming a better and better copywriter, now she goes to the gym more, and she'll send me a text like, I went to the gym today, and she'll send me a little photo, and I'm like, yeah. So there's many wins that you can get. They're not just money related, but I'm just sharing money because I know universally that's something we can all agree on. Now, that's the main difference. So I'm gonna remove all of this. Hopefully all of that makes sense. If it doesn't, please let me know. But if it did, please also let me know. All right, so let me remove all of this here. Naz also likes when I clean up the board fully, so. Is this good, Naz?
Perfect.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Naz is my co-founder, so we're building this business together, so there you go. All right, fantastic. Wait, let's see. Let's move on. Got it. Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Now, I want to talk about like the fundamental concept of copywriting, and then we'll move into the training. Okay. This is part of the training. This is the first part of the training because you need to know this. So this is the first most important thing to understand. So I'm going to write this down, and it's action threshold. Now, it sounds like a big word, but I'm going to break it down, okay? And I'm going to break this down visually for you. Okay, for example, who here hates running a lot or like quite a bit? Like just raise your hands if you kind of don't really like running, find it annoying, find it difficult. Okay, we got a couple of people, Avra, Ellie. So, yep, okay, perfect. So Avra, give me on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate running? Moaz says I love running. Fantastic. So we got some running lovers. So I'll also put you as well on the whiteboard, okay? So we got people that love running and we got people that hate running. Tell me how much out of a 10 do you hate running, Avra? Give me a scale of 1 to 10. So Avra's at a 4. Okay, so I'm going to put 1 here and I'm going to put 10 right here. Okay, so now we have, here is a 4, let's say. Here's a 4. And we got Avra right here. Okay, and then who kind of loves running? Moaz, you kind of love running, right? So you hate it very little. So I'll probably say you hate it like a 1, okay? Very little. So this is a hate score, by the way, just so you know. Like how much do you hate this thing, okay? I'll put hate right here so you kind of can see it. But this is kind of like how much you don't want to do a thing, okay?
You could do it like 1 is you hate it the least.
Yes.
And you hate it most.
Exactly. So 1 is you hate it the least, and 10 is you hate it the most. Thank you. Yep. So this is most. Okay, fantastic. So we have Avra here at a 4, and then we have Moaz here at a 1. Okay. Now, how much effort do I need to spend to convince Moaz to go for a run? Can you guys just, like, do I need to go really hard and convince him really hard? Or do you think I could kind of just be like, hey Moaz, you want to go for a run? How much effort do I need to invest? 1 out of 10. Like, needs a very little effort or a lot of effort? Very little effort. Exactly. Very little effort. So I can actually just go to Moaz and be like, hey, you want to go for a run? And here, like, I'll draw out this line. So this will visualize my effort that I've put. I just put this much effort, and he's already convinced. He's done. So we've closed him. Done. Now, with this same amount of effort, energy, skill that I have of persuading somebody, if I give him my 1, will I convince Avra to go for a run? Will he go for a run? No, because there's a lot more work that I have to do here, okay? So Avra, give me a couple of things you hate about running or you dislike about running. What are some of the things you dislike about running? You could type it in, you could speak them, whichever one you want. Okay, so you're giving me some things. All right, so there's no time. All right, so you basically, your main reason is like, I have no time. I don't want to run. Okay, fantastic. And that seems like the biggest issue, okay? Let's say you had other issues, okay? So like, let's say you had some other issues like, it's too tiring, okay? I have no time. Okay, fantastic. Now, if I go to Avra and I'm like, hey, what if I showed you a way that you could actually run that doesn't take up any of your time? You can actually run while working. In fact, there are people who are doing this that when they run in this way, they're actually getting 2 times the amount of work done, leaving them with even less of a guilt of not having time. Would you at least now get curious, Avra, of what the hell this is? So I think he's writing. I'm not sure. We'll click on that. Okay, great. So we earned a click from him. Now he wants to see what it is, okay? And some of you guys might be like, well, you just completely lied to him. Maybe, but I actually have a walking treadmill right underneath me. When I'm walking and I'm cutting weight, I walk 10 to 20,000 steps on this, which is like 5 miles, 3 miles or 5 miles of distance. And I do it while I'm working. And when I did discover this, I was like, holy shit. And I get more work done because I'm actually moving in momentum. So I shoot more videos. I have less of a voice of doubt in my voice. I got you. I just made you the co-host. And so there is a product that I could actually sell you. But even if I don't do that, I have gotten you to click. That is my job here, okay? So with some effort, right, I ended up going to like a level 4, and we ended up now converting Avra as well. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to overcome the action threshold, and once we get past somebody's action threshold, we get them to act. In this case, right, the topic is we're getting them to run. That's the topic in this case. But in most of your guys' cases, the topic is different. We are getting them to do something else. So for example, in most cases, what's your guys' goal as a copywriter, whether you're writing for somebody or you're writing for yourself? Your ultimate goal is what, guys? For you guys, ultimate goal, let's see, somebody fast enough to type it in? Okay, I'll put it right here. Yes, attract clients, get them to buy, okay? Ultimately, we're trying to get them to buy, because even when you attract clients, what's the ultimate final action you want them to do? You send an invoice and they hit the pay button, right? Or the buy button. So we're wanting them to get them to buy. So now let's actually visualize it from not a running perspective, but from a buying perspective. And here's what that would actually look like. So I'm going to remove all of this. Okay. And now let's actually kind of put the psychology of just general people in general. Okay. So let's do this now. I will go here. Holy hell. I need to work out more. Okay. So let's go here. All right. So how much effort do you think it takes somebody to hit a like button on a post? 1 out of 10. 10 being crazy amount of effort. 1 being very little effort. Okay? And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 being somewhere in between. So how much effort do you think it would take somebody to hit a like button, to convince somebody to hit a like button? Now, it still takes an effort, right? Because if I got 100,000 views on my video, I will never get 100,000 likes. I will probably get 1,000 likes, 3,000 likes. So there are 97,000 people that aren't hitting like. If it truly took almost no effort, 100,000 people would like. So there's a big amount of people that don't hit like. It still takes some convincing to get somebody to actually hit the like button, right? So, but what's that effort? It's not a 10. It's also not a 1. And it's not too difficult. So where would you guys put it? So some people are saying 3 effort. Okay, cool. So that's what it takes, okay? 0 effort, I would disagree. Try to get likes on a YouTube video by a lot of people. It's really freaking hard. It takes a lot of effort. Or your own post. And I'm talking about a majority of people, not like you sent the link to your mom and then she liked it and you're like, hey, Kazi, look, I got 1 like. So let's say, okay, so somebody said that that takes 3. So let's actually put that down. So let's put that down right here. So here's a 3 and here's like. Okay, that's how much effort it takes to get somebody to like. Now, what about getting somebody to, let's say, share the video? Let's say share the video. How much effort do you guys think it takes, or share your post? How much effort does it take to get somebody to share your post, or share your email, share your Instagram post that you wrote? Between 1 and a 10. Okay, somebody said, Amanath said 6. Okay, fantastic. So I'll put that. So this is share. Okay. And now let's actually go, how much effort does it take us to get somebody to buy? Okay, we want them to click a link. We want them to go to the sales page and read it. We want them to go to the checkout page, put their credit card information in, find their credit card, find the desire to buy, overcome their objections, for them to go, oh, this is worth my money. I will actually put money in, type in the money, make sure, oh, the payment failed. Ooh, whoops. Put the payment in again, put the right number. Their dog barked, they got distracted, they come back. They're like, oh shit, I'm still typing this payment in right now. And they do it, and then they finally at some point buy. Okay, how much effort does it take to get somebody to buy? Fantastic, 9, 10, sure, let's put it at a 9. So 9 is buy. Okay, now I'll share with you guys a really pro concept, okay? Let's say, so each of you guys right now has like what I call like a copywriting level. Okay, if you're a beginner, you're most likely 1, 2, or a 3, right? If you're intermediate, you're like level 4, 5, 6. If you're advanced, you're like a 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so your skill is somewhere between 1 and 10. Okay, let me ask you guys just as a fun question. How would you rate yourself? Just a skill level, okay? This is a pretty soft. This is not like very prescriptive or whatever, but just like 1 out of 10. What would you say your copywriting is at? So Ellie says that she's at a 1. Okay, so this is like your copywriter level. Okay, I'll put level. And then we have somebody's at a 0. We have somebody at a 5, 1, 1, 1. Okay, 5. Fantastic. So let's say that we have you at, we have level 5, level 1, level 0. Okay, so let's start with the level 5, and then this example will also work with a 1. Okay, you guys will see how this works. So this is actually pretty interesting. So let's say we pick Amo. Amo is a level 5 copywriter. Now I'll tell you guys this, okay? If you're a level 5, on this action threshold scale, you cannot get somebody to buy right away. Because you're a 5, the max you can go up to is a 5. Does that make sense, guys? Like the max you can, if you're a level 5, then the max you can convince somebody is at a 5. You can't go beyond that. I want to make sure that's not confusing as a concept. Okay, fantastic. So if the max you can do is a 5, then can Amo get somebody to share the video on the first try? Can she get somebody to share? Very unlikely, because her level is not a 6. Okay, so the max she can do is to get somebody to do what? Out of all of these options, what is the max that she could do on the first try of her post? She can get somebody to like. Very good. This is the target that she can actually achieve. Okay, so now imagine this. When Amo makes the first post, she gets the user to hit like. Okay, now here's something very interesting that happens, and I'll probably have to delete some of this stuff because otherwise I'll end up going too far down. So I'll have to build it out here. Okay, so this part, or you mean like, or I can just remove this part?
No, just the bottom part. If you draw another line.
Uh-huh. This part?
Yeah.
Okay, it'll still show?
Yeah.
I'll get pretty down. No, I don't think so. I'm just gonna do this. Okay, hold up. We're good. So, all right, so we got a level 5 character on our hands, right? And now I'll draw another bar right here, okay? This is the same bar as this one, okay? Now, here's the interesting thing that happens. If Amo got somebody to like the post on the first try, when that person comes back again to one of her posts, do you think it's easier for her to get them to like again since she had already gotten them to like the first time? What do you guys think? It's gonna be, so I'm gonna go through with this. Yes, exactly, Evra. It's gonna be much easier. So what's gonna happen is this scale is gonna move down and it's gonna reset. So on the next try, when that same person comes in, I'll draw their face. So this is like a reader, that same reader who read here for the first time. When that reader is gonna come in again for the second time, now the scale is gonna shift more. So now it's gonna be a level 1 to hit the like button for them. The share is gonna move down by 2 because this moved down, okay? So now share is gonna go from a 6 to a 4. And so share now becomes a 4 because it becomes easier. And a buy goes from a 9 to a 7. So now we have buy, okay? This is actually the new scale that's now shifted, okay? Now let me ask you this. On the second post, and this is a very rough example, okay? In real life, of course, we will have to do more lead nurturing, but for now, this is a very rough example, just so you guys can understand the concept. Now, on the second post, can Amo get somebody to like the post now? Because her ability is of a 5. She can convince somebody at a level 5. Can she get somebody to like the post if she tried her hardest writing a new post? Yes, exactly. So she can now convince somebody at a 4 to hit share on her post, okay? And if we just play this game out one more time, now share becomes the new 1 because that person is now used to sharing her posts. So let's just say now share is a 1, okay? Like is so easy that it's like a 0. They just like her post by default. As soon as they see her name, they just hit like, okay? And now the buy goes from a 7 and shifts down by another 3, and a buy becomes a 4, okay? So you have buy here. Now let me ask you this. On her third post, can Amo now sell that person? Keep in mind now, it's 4. She's a level 5. If she really tried, now at this point, can Amo sell that person? Yes or no? It's now starting to become possible to sell this person. Exactly. Very good. Okay? And she can make a sale. So I'll make a big $sign so Naz is happy. Yes. Okay, there we go. Cha-ching! Our goal that we had of getting somebody to buy is completed. So if you're here, this is the hack, okay? If you're not a level 10 copywriter, you know what the hack is? To get somebody to still buy from you? Let me see if you guys were paying attention, because you should be able to answer this. What is the hack to get somebody to buy from you if you're not a level 10, to get a client if you're not a level 10, to get somebody to run and go do the thing you want if you're not a level 10? What is the hack? Drop it in the Zoom chat. I want to hear it. What do you think the hack is? If you put the wrong answer, it's totally okay. I'll just make fun of you after the webinar. I'm kidding. I won't. I promise.
Yes, we will.
Okay, we love you very much. Get your like or share and then grow. Yes, write the best damn copy. Good. Multiple CTAs. Good. So basically, the answer is just write more. Give them value more times. Because if you're not skilled enough to win on the first try, just do it again. Right? Just do it again. Do it one more time. Do it one more time. Think of how my English bulldog, who just pooped and vomited like literally at the time of the webinar, like exactly when the webinar started. But anyways, think of how when she needs food, she just sits there. She doesn't have great copy. She doesn't have great convincing skills. She just keeps looking at me with her eyes forever, and then eventually I cave in. So with repetition, you can bring that down. Ah, we got another puppy over here. Let's go. Nice. So with repetition, you can have it where people's resistance to purchasing from you goes down. This means you guys need to post more on social media. Does that make sense, guys? Because the people who are reading and watching you are then more likely to buy from you when you write multiple times. Oh, he just peed. That's funny. Telling you, man, they know the worst times to do it. Okay, the action threshold concept. Does that make sense to you guys? Is there anything confusing before we move on from this and I erase this forever and ever and ever and it's gone and you'll never ever see it again?
Pause is something to add to the 3 posting. Is what we're talking is it might not necessarily be arbitrary like 3.
Yes, I said that, but I'll repeat it again. Thank you. Very good point. So this does not mean on your 3rd post you will guaranteed get a sale. You guys understand that, right? This is just like a framework to think. This might be your 20th post or 30th post that you attract the client. Slowly bringing their resistance down because they're trusting you more and they like what you post more. And so then the effort you have to do and the skill you have to have doesn't need to be that high. Okay? But if you're trying to convince somebody on the first try, you need to be a pretty skilled marketer and you need to be pretty good at copywriting. Let's actually write copy from scratch. Would that be helpful for you guys to see copy written from scratch so you can see it yourself being written? Okay, that would be helpful. Fantastic. So let's actually work on writing copy, okay? And we'll just do it live copy. And I'll show you guys my process. Now, don't be overwhelmed because we have limited time, so I'll go through some of this stuff fast. But my process is like, it's kind of a messy process, but this is just how my brain works, and I think it will be valuable for you because I've been writing emails for years for my own audience, and this is generally the process I use. So let's write copy. Now, a couple of things. Do you guys want to give me a product that I can write a copy about? Product, service, anything that you think I should sell? Anything worth selling? Let's see. We got somebody saying property. Okay, great. Give me some other products. So I'll have a list of this. So property, SaaS subscriptions, SaaS product. Okay, ChatGPT selling subscription, digital camera. Okay, a diet, solar energy, and dog food. Okay, we got pretty spread out things. I want to get movie, fantastic. Okay, somebody says wellness products. Okay, so I would like to pick a specific thing rather than like a whole niche. So if you have a specific product, that would be even more fantastic. So within dog food, do you have a specific dog food in mind? Or within digital camera, do you have a specific camera? Or for SaaS, is there a specific SaaS like Discord, Slack, ChatGPT, whatever it is, like a specific software? a high lean protein dog food. Okay. Okay, fantastic. Movie. Awesome. Okay, so let's do this now. So now we're gonna get into just like writing copy. So what I like to do is if I have a product, and let's say we pick a product here, what's a product that everybody would be okay with? Like, does everybody know what a SaaS is, or should we go with the digital camera? Because everybody might understand a digital camera. I just want to make sure everybody is on the same page. Digital camera. Okay, so we'll pick digital camera. And I'll show you how you guys can plug and play and put different things in there too. Okay, so here's the funny thing. Rule number one that I have, forget about the fucking product. I just came up with this rule right now, but it's a rule that I have. So I like to just not think about the product at all, because it's the last thing, and what happens is when you're too focused on thinking about it, all the words that you write start to be really weird. You'll be like, I was sitting there with my wife and I was just petting my digital camera. And you're like, wait, why was I petting my digital camera? No, that's not what was happening. And then you're like, write something else. So if you just don't worry about the product at the start, that'll save you a lot of trouble. And the building blocks of copy that I think of are this: hook, lesson, story, CTA. Or you can do it the other way: hook, story, lesson, CTA. Okay? This is my fundamental building blocks. I literally think about this like Lego, like physical Lego blocks. That's how I think of it. And so this is usually what any copy that you see, any good copy that you see, is just made up of these blocks. Now, sometimes it's missing a story. You can also just go hook, lesson, and call to action. Okay? I burn my hand. Lesson. I will try to use things that stop me from burning it ever again. I bought these gloves. This is a very, very simple that work for me. Here's the link for you to try. This is like the most basic copy ever. This is like a level 1 effort, okay? But this is the most basic copy. You have your hook, you have your lesson, and you will have a call to action. So far, you guys with me? Fantastic. Okay, now we can start to make this better and better. And we can start to make it juicier and like more hard hitting. But this is the fundamental process. You can speak about your lesson for longer, and you can go into your hook for longer, and you can go into your story for longer. Okay, so this is like just one bare bone copy. So now let's write another copy. I'll have my hook. I'll start off with the same thing, okay? Story, lesson, my call to action. So sometimes the story comes to you first. Sometimes the lesson comes to you first. Sometimes the hook comes to you first. That's okay. You'll sometimes think in like kind of random ways, but ultimately you'll get to the same conclusion, which is like a final copy, and that's okay. So a couple of stories that are on my mind right now is one story recently with my co-founder and my best friend, Naz, who's helping me out with the webinar. We recently had a really hard conversation about the business. So this is, I'll just write hard convo. This is generally what I do when I'm writing copy, is I think to specific stories that have happened in my real life recently, something I've seen today, or something that has happened, okay? Pudgy, my bulldog, just threw up at the worst possible time, okay? And then I have, yeah, those are really like some of the things that are coming to my mind, okay? Now, as I'm thinking about the fact that I had a hard conversation, there is something coming to my mind. I will reveal that to you guys later. I'll just take a note of it right now. Okay, so I will show you that. And here's what I will do, okay? Now, I want to pick just kind of which story do I want to talk about. I have to like pick a story that I want. So I'm going to just kind of pick this hard convo story because it's the most in my mind. And here's kind of what happened with this story, right? So just the context of it, so you guys know, is my friend, he went to Brazil, he came back, and I felt like it really affected the business in a negative way. And I hadn't had this conversation with him until yesterday. So it's like very recent. We had a 4-hour-long conversation. And here's how I would start writing. So it's like, I dreaded this conversation. Okay. I was avoiding having it for weeks. This was costing me and the business thousands of dollars. And it was only because I was scared and didn't have the balls to do it. But this one thing could have changed everything for me. So, even at this point, right? If I had told you the story, are you like, oh, this is so boring, I don't want to continue this? Or there's a part of you that's like, I kind of want to know what happened next, right? You feel like you're kind of hooked. And that's really, at least that's fully invested. Fantastic. So I'm just going to write down some key components of a good copy, and I'll put those here as well on the fly. But like, this is relatable. And the reason why it's relatable is because it's real. I'm not making up some bullshit. I'm also not thinking about my product currently. I'm literally just like speaking to you and giving you like a real thing that happened. And you can feel it. Because every copywriter, right? Bad copywriters, they try to trick you. They focus on techniques that they have learned. But real copy, just gonna mute. When you're writing good copy is vulnerable. So honestly, any of you that are vulnerable speakers that are, I mean, especially if you yap a lot, but like if you're vulnerable and you're not scared of sharing your emotions, you're going to be a phenomenal copywriter by default by just simply sharing those things. For those of you who are a little bit more introverted, you have to start getting more used to it because it makes it better. Now, here's the thing. The actual meat of the conversation, him and I, we were talking about Facebook ads and influencer marketing and all this stuff, which not everybody can relate to because they're not doing it. But can everybody relate to the fact that I was dreading this conversation? Can everybody relate to the fact that it was costing us like money not doing this? Can everybody feel that they've been scared before in their life, that they didn't have the balls to do something or the courage to do something? This is something like everybody can relate to. So that's why like relatability and just being real is so important. Okay? And then, the story, I'm just going to write the beats of the story. So I've picked this hard conversation story, and the beat of the story is just like, I'll just write some bullet points for myself. So, and then this is something I can fill out later, but it's like post-Brazil, we didn't communicate for a while, and we weren't growing the business as fast as we could. We worked on completely wrong things. I felt like it put us one entire month behind. I'll stop right here because right at this point, I'm gonna start to lose your attention. So I'm gonna stop right here. And this point of this is, just so you understand, is I'm just writing beats of the story. Okay, now I'm not gonna sit and write it all out here because it was like a 4-hour-long conversation, but I'm writing the key points. This you can fill out later because you know the story. It was real and it happened to you, okay? Now the next thing that I actually need to write were what are the key takeaways and lessons that I learned. I got better at dealing with hard conversations. Learned that we can still run this business even after harshly holding each other accountable. Okay, fantastic. Now, the main part, okay? So these are, again, some of the bullet points. You can fill more of these out later. But how do you transition? How do you transition from this, okay? All these, how do you transition from here to selling your product? Like, remember, our product is a digital camera. So if we're selling a digital camera, how do we transition to that? Well, here's how my first transition I would think of, and then if we can think of better transitions, then we start writing them. But like one of the first things that come to my mind as I'm doing this is, I would say the biggest thing are the lessons learned from these situations. Because today it was a conversation with my co-founder. Tomorrow it'll be a conversation with an investor who's about to spend $100 million in our business. That's what it's worth for me to learn and extract every single lesson out of this conversation. And what I did before we got into this hard conversation, I actually set my camera down and recorded the entire thing. Okay. And so now you guys can actually see the transition coming, right? Because of that, we both broke it down and saw the places where we made mistakes and could have done better. And that is literally worth $100 million. And I wouldn't have been able to do this without my Sony a7 IV's. So if this seems interesting to you and you too want to have a difficult conversation this week, or you're working on something important and want to document it, I highly recommend you click this link and check it out. Because this has worked for me and thousands of others like you who want to become better business owners and better partners. Because what's the cost of losing your best friend? What's the cost of losing your wife? And what's the cost of losing your business? I don't want to pay that price. I'd rather learn the lesson. Oof, this is good. I'd rather learn the lesson without the scars. This is what this camera here allows me to do. So click this link and check it out. I'm gonna stop right here. We live wrote this, so maybe some of this is terrible. But if you read it, is there a part of you that feels like you might, if you were interested and you were in this market, you might click and at least check it out? Right? There's some level of like intrigue and curiosity, and that's all I have to do. I don't have to do too much. I don't have to tell you every freaking feature and every freaking thing. I just have to get you at least curious, so you click and you check out the sales page. Okay? And these transitions can be tricky and they can be hard, right? But that's what it is. So there are other fundamental parts here that I'll just write down here. But what are some of the key things that you guys noticed? Can you write down in chat some key things that you noticed? So for example, you might have noticed relatability or vulnerability. Did anybody notice anything else besides like a call to action? Any other things that come out at you that you noticed that were done here? Okay, long form sales letter, fantastic. What other things did you notice? Emotive, yes, very emotive, and then straight to call to action. So when we're writing copy, emotions are a very big part of it. So I will put this in here. This is part of what make things relatable. YIIFM. I've heard of this acronym, but if you could please expand it, that would actually help. Cool. So a lot of these things that are here, you know, what about social proof? Did anybody notice that I added social proof in here? Social proof means other people that have gotten successful results out of it, or other people that have done it, right? So if you notice this line, I actually have social proof here. So social proof is an important element of your copywriting, and I highly recommend that you add that in. So I'll add social proof. Okay. I gave you what's in it. Oh yeah, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? So I gave you a little bit of what's in it for you. I've put and actually, as a matter of fact, to make it even stronger, let's actually do this. Let's add a thing because people's objection is like, what if I buy it and this camera doesn't work out for me? Well, here's what I'll say. If getting this camera doesn't make you 10x the value within 12 months, give you your money back, no questions asked. So now we've added a risk reversal as well. Okay, this is another element of copywriting. So I'll actually add risk reversal here as well. So you have risk reversal, you have social proof, you have what's in it for me, and then the last part is call to action. So we'll say this, the fundamental things, if I show you this copy, you have your hook. Let me actually screenshot this real quick and then show you guys that way. There we go. And notice I write a lot of, there's a lot of line spacing that makes it a lot easier and better to read, okay, in my opinion. So at the top over here, let me move this out of the way. Just go here and make this thicker. Okay, so at the top over here, you guys can see that I have the hook. So I will make this bigger and I'll put that right over here. Okay, the top I have the hook. In the middle, I have my story and lesson. And then here, I have a bunch of different elements, but the main element is call to action, which is all the way kind of at the bottom, because this is the main thing that we want to achieve, right? So hook, story, lesson. I got the main elements. Now the other things are little sprinkles. They're like what I call modifiers. So I'll just give them a different color so you guys can see them. They're not completely necessary, but I believe they make your copy better. So for example, here, I actually have social proof. Here, I actually have other things like kind of price anchoring it. So this is a more emotional price anchor, right? But I could actually price anchor it to like dollar amounts too, but I'm price anchoring it to like pretty invaluable things. You're like, holy shit, if it can save me my relationship with somebody, well, that alone might be worth it. So I'm price anchoring it. And then over here, I have what we call a guarantee or a risk reversal. Okay. And once you see this stuff, and then you generally need a transition. So like this is what I call a transition. You don't really need to call it anything, but like I just kind of like calling it a transition because you need to go smooth from your story and lesson. It's like a skill. You have to go from your lesson to what you're trying to sell. You have to anchor it. So we just literally took a random thing, a digital product, a camera, and we started doing it. Yeah, so if you want to, exactly. So you can make it strong and punchy, you can make it softer, as long as it's authentic to you. But the main thing is these elements have to be there. These elements must be there, okay? And this exact copy, you will see it everywhere. And by the way, Amanat, if we can actually like screenshot this and maybe even send this as an email to everybody, so just in case, if you're not taking notes right now or whatever, you can do this, you can get it later. So I'll just save this here for now. And let me see if I can actually show you this. So I will show you guys this in a second. So let me go here and show you guys an ad. Or Amanat, if you have that whimsical with the Alex Becker ad.
Yep, I'm sending you the link.
I found it. I found it. Okay. So
I've broken it down so it's easy for you to present.
Okay. So if you want to share, you can. But basically, you guys will see this everywhere, okay? Once you learn this, you can't unsee it. It's like, you know when you learn a new word and then all of a sudden you start seeing it everywhere, you see a color of a car or whatever, and you're thinking about yellow and you start seeing yellow cars everywhere. You'll see it everywhere. Every copy you see, you'll start seeing it. So like this is an ad that this made hire us like millions of dollars. It's a company, it doesn't really matter what they do, but you'll see it everywhere. They have a hook. Our tracking improves ROI by a lot. You have a lesson. They literally teach you stuff. Then they give you problems and benefits. But like the main things that they have, hook, lesson, CTA. Even if you don't have any of the other things, you have copy. But then to make it better, you talk about problems, benefits, you could talk about social proof, you could talk about, they literally have the risk reversal here, and they have social proof. So they're like, every customer loves it and tries it, but you have 90 days. If you don't like it, you can give it back, and we'll give you all your money back, okay? So that is the fundamentals of just making any copy work and work well. Now what I want to show you is, let's actually finish this email, because this email is not finished, right? We have a lot of stuff there, but it's still not completely finished from scratch. Would you guys like to see me finish this email from scratch? Would that be valuable for you guys? Yes? Okay, cool. And can I share? Okay, so to finish this email will take like 3 hours of work or 2 hours of work, but my team and I literally built an AI tool that will take us like 3 minutes to finish it. Is it okay if I use that tool to show you guys me finishing it? Can I have your permission to do that? Ellie says, please. Phila says, yes. Okay, fantastic, awesome. So let me just show you this, okay? So I'll go to boards and I'll make a new board here, and we'll just say email copywriting ninjas, haha. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter what you call the board. Let's get inside of here. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll take all this copy that I wrote here and I'll paste it in. Okay, I'll just double click and paste it in. Whoops. And you guys will be able to see it right here, okay? This copy is right here. And I'm just gonna make an AI chat, and I'm gonna connect this copy to that AI chat. I'm just gonna say, what's the hook? And then let's just see if it can tell me. And so it says, I dreaded this conversation. Fantastic. So it knows what the hook is because it can read it. Okay, great. And now at the top, I'll just call it email 1 so we have a way to refer to it. Okay, and the parts that are really missing, guys, is like the story and the lesson. Like that's really the key thing that's missing. So I wanna fill it out, but I don't wanna sit here and like write it all out. I wanna speak it. Because when I'm talking, it's much easier for me to tell a story that has actually happened in my life versus like sitting there and writing it, okay? So I'm gonna speak it, and what I'll do is, if you guys see this record button over here, I'm just gonna record it in here, and I'm just gonna speak my voice for the next 1 or 2 minutes. So if you're confused on what I'm speaking about, I'm just gonna be telling the actual story to this app, okay? So I'm gonna hit record now. So basically, here's the story. Here's what happened. So my co-founder Naz, he went to Brazil, had a fantastic time there, and celebrated his birthday, but ended up going for a month. And the problem that happened were there were a lot of things that he was in charge of and leading, like for example, influencer marketing, and et cetera. And a lot of those things that he was in charge of, those started falling through the cracks. And when that started to happen, I started to feel more and more anxious, thinking, does he even want to grow the business? Does he even want to grow this company with me? And I realized later that a lot of these things were just because of miscommunication and not speaking on a regular basis and having touch points. Had I actually spoken to him days ago, as soon as I started having this feeling, that would have solved the problem. But because it took so long and waited literally weeks, the problem had grown tenfold. And so once we finally had the conversation, I learned that we can actually deal with the conversation. We're able to handle hard conversations well, and that having this conversation a lot earlier would have saved us weeks of time, thousands of dollars, and had made us probably $10,000 more. So now I'll just hit stop recording. So now what I've essentially done is this part here, the beats of the story in the lesson, I kind of just spoke it into the app, and I will just connect this audio part over here, okay? And I will just ask it, like, okay, what does my audio say about the story? Just tell me that. I just want to make sure that my AI sees it. Get rid of this. Okay, there we go. It actually sees the entire story that I just voice recorded, right? It sees the beats of that story. Now I'm going to tell it like, hey, so for my email number 1, I have in bullet points written out my beats of the story, but I also now spoke them in the audio message. Can you please connect the two and fill out the entire story/lesson part so it reads more like a normal email rather than this bullet pointy thingy? And you can kind of speak to it in a normal way, and now it's actually writing out the entire story part of the email and the lesson part of the email. And when I actually look at the story part, it looks really good. It was a hard conversation that I'd been avoiding for weeks. My co-founder just returned from Brazil. During his absence, a lot of thoughts crept in. Does he even want to grow this business? Are we still on the same page? We didn't communicate for a while, blah, 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 okay? And then for the lesson, instead, by waiting weeks, the problem had grown tenfold. When we finally had the conversation, I learned 2 crucial things. Fantastic. Now I will say, put the entire email together so it flows. And let's just see what it does now. Okay, so it's using my voice message and some of the copy here that I wrote with you guys. And let's take a look at it. So it has the hook, but this one thing could have changed everything. Here's the story. Here's the lesson. The biggest takeaway in the lesson, because today was a conversation, because tomorrow it'll be a conversation with an investor, that's what it's worth for me to learn and extract every single lesson out of this conversation. Okay, the $100 million. Because of that, we both broke it down and saw the places where we made mistakes. Okay, now what I will say is remove all the things in brackets and just make it a full email that I can send to people. Okay, and I will hit enter. And Amanat, if you have a screenshot of the email that I sent out to Clever Programmer the other day, that would also be very helpful to see. Okay, fantastic. Now if you guys take a look at it, here's the full copy. This is literally the full copy. And I will paste it in here. Okay. I will get rid of the starting part, and there we go. This is the entire copy, from the hook to the story to the lesson, all the way to the transition and the call to action. So you guys see how we just wrote this entire email from start to finish? And instead of it taking us hours, we actually ended up doing it in minutes. Okay, and we use this to write emails for our audience all the time. So for example, here's an email that we wrote, and it's in my voice. It doesn't sound like generic ChatGPT or whatever. And if you actually look at the performance of this, we sent it out to 160,000 people, and 40% of the people opened it. So 95,000 total opens we got on this email. Amana, that's actually a crazy open rate. Holy shit.
It is a really good
wow. So that subject line really hit hard. And another thing is that this thing can come up with subject lines. So what we'll say is I'll tell it like, give me 10 subject lines, make them juicy. Here we go. So let's see the subject lines that it gives me. Okay, the $100 million conversation I almost avoided. That's good. From fear to fortune, The camera that saved my company and friendship.
No way, that's so good.
I was too scared to talk and it nearly cost me everything. The month-long silence that almost killed my startup. That's really good. Balls, Brazil, and $1 billion lesson.
What?
The recording that turned conflict into cash. Friendship on the line. Out of these 10, which one is your guys' favorite subject line, by the way? Which one might get you to click? Which one might get you to go, let me see what this is about. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Just name the number that you feel like, ooh, that's actually kind of interesting. 7, nice. Mirshat, that's 7. What other ones? Amanat, what is it for you?
It would be the camera that saved my company.
That's funny. And friendship. So freaking solid. 4 and 7. Very interesting. So we got multiple votes for 4 and 7. And 1. The $100 million conversation, I almost avoided. Okay, so now that we have multiple votes, I like to kind of just go with my gut feeling. You could also A/B test it. But this is the subject line. Okay, so now if we go here, we got another vote for 7. So I think we have 3 votes for 7. So we can actually just put 7 as well now. So subject line. There we go. Okay, so that's our subject line. Like, you see it as a preview, you click it, and then you end up reading through this entire thing. And Avra, yes, A/B testing here is a very good thing that you can actually do. Okay, A/B testing thing is a very good thing that you can actually do. Now, we are pretty much coming at the end of the time, but what I want to ask you guys is it okay with you guys if I share with you how you can actually get this tool yourselves? This is a tool that we've been building behind the scenes, and I've been using it to write my own copy. Amana, actually the screenshot that I wanted to get was a different one. It was not that one. I will actually share with them. It's the entire email thing that I actually wrote for everybody. I will find...
It's inside your copy. It's inside your copy.
Yes, I am just trying to find it real quick because it's so good. Like, I want to show you guys. I've screenshotted in other places too, so if you do find it. Oh, actually found it. So I'll actually share with you guys the exact thing. Let me show you guys this. So if I share my screen, all right. So that email that I showed you guys that had that 38% open rate and 95,000 people opened it, that email was actually written from here. And what I did is I gave it my YouTube video because it can watch YouTube videos.
Here's a Redux somewhere.
So I had given it my YouTube video. I gave it the link to my sales page. And then I basically told it, write me, turn this into an email. And then it did. And so there you can actually see it wrote this entire email in exactly my voice, so it doesn't sound cringy or anything like that. It wrote a killer hook, and then we ended up sending it out to people, and those were the results it got. It got all the open rates, the click-through rates, etc. So I want to share with you guys how you guys can actually, first I want to ask you if you guys even want me to share this, how you guys can access this tool. So do you guys want me to share with you how you can access this tool? If not, that's totally okay, because I'm happy just giving you guys value on this webinar that hopefully you guys can take away for free and use it. But if you want me to show you how you can get this tool, then I can show you that as well. Okay, Kami says yes. Companies don't need copywriters anymore. Tricky thing is you still need a person to write copy, because ChatGPT will often write cringy copy that is like very, just not good, soulless. And you still need somebody to give it direction. That's why I have to sit here and work with it. Okay, we need it, yes, yes, yes. Okay, perfect, awesome. So now let me show you. Amanat, can you drop the link in the chat? Or actually Canva, right? I should go to Canva probably?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this. Got some nice little questions prepared. All right, so a question for you guys is how much is 1 hour of your time worth? Okay, now if you're a copywriter, Generally speaking, it's worth between $30 to $100 an hour. Now, if you're in a different country, maybe $10 an hour, maybe $20 an hour. Regardless, it's worth something, hopefully. Okay, so whatever your time is worth, then the question is, what if you save just 1 hour a day using this tool? If you're writing copy, I think you might be able to save more, but let's just say you saved one. Like right now, guys, that email that we wrote would have been like 2 or 3 hours. But let's say it saved us 2 or 3 hours. But let's say it saves you only 1 hour a day. You would be saving anywhere from $30 to $100 a day. That's $30 a day, $210 a week, and $840 a month. Just if it saves you 1 hour a day, okay? And that hopefully will be worth about $10,000 or $11,000 for you per year. Now, we're not asking you for $1,000 or $840 per month. What we're actually asking for is this tool is only $16 a month, okay? Billed annually. Kami says what? Nice. I love that reaction. And so here's what's cool. Look, does anybody here have a ChatGPT subscription? Raise your hands if you have a ChatGPT subscription or a Claude subscription. No, you guys should. Oh my God. Okay, so first of all, you guys need some kind of AI, okay? In the modern day, everybody needs some kind of AI, okay? You need it. Like, it gives you 30 IQ points for free. It'll make you an extra couple of thousand a month. It'll be really worth it. Now, even if you don't get our tool and the tool that I made and you cross it out, you should have some kind of AI. But this tool here has both ChatGPT and Claude. Like, look, if you got ChatGPT, you'd be paying 20 bucks a month. If you got Claude, you'd be paying 20 bucks a month. Total, you'd be paying 40 or 480 a year. With this, you get both for half the price and even cheaper than those. So if you're like, oh my God, I don't have money, just cancel your ChatGPT subscription and you're good. You know those 3 times a month you go to Starbucks? Just 3 times a month. Just give up 3 coffees. And you can write better and faster and get more clients and make more money and be rich and make millions of dollars in minutes without doing any work. Okay, just kidding. You have to do some work, okay? You still have to do hard work. But let's continue, okay? Here's some nerdy stuff if you care. You can screenshot it. But basically, Poppy is better, okay? There's a whole bunch of things it can do. As you saw, it could talk to YouTube videos. It could make your emails nice and pretty. ChatGPT, on the other hand, will give you a cringy email that'll lose you money and clients. Poppy will give you emails that'll win you money and clients. Amanat, can we add that in next time to one of these things? Okay, fantastic. Now, on this webinar, you won't even have to pay $16 a month. On this webinar, we'll make it even cheaper for you. For the next 15 minutes, if you join, it will be $179 a year, which is 14 bucks a month, okay? Only 14 bucks a month is what we're asking for. Now, here's our guarantee. If you don't 10x your ROI on this tool within 12 months, meaning if you've paid us $179 to get this tool and you don't make at least $1,800 within 12 months, Ellie, Avra, Kami, Karabo, Sanjay, Inga, Mershad, you can come to me and you can just send me a text or an email at kazi@getpoppy.ai. It'll be right there when you join the product. Just say, hey, I want my money back. We won't ask you any questions, and we'll send you your money back. Because ultimately, if you don't win with this, we won't win. And here's why. Because if you're a good copywriter and you're making money with this, you'll promote it to 10 other people and they'll buy. So literally, our business will grow 10 times the pace. So it's in our benefit for us to get you to win. So if this sounds interesting, please click below and join, and I'll just 6 to 7 hours every single day. And we have countless testimonials from people. So for example, I will show you guys real quick. Here's our page. So this is the page. So this tool, like really the purpose of it is, I believe, is a secret AI tool that helps copywriters make 10K a month and make millions of dollars in minutes without doing any work. But just kidding about that part, okay? You still have to work hard. But it'll save you a lot of time. Okay, so it'll help you write copy. And here's the main things, right? So like, look at all the people that are using it. Like this guy, this is super funny because he's sitting in here in his Porsche and then he's using it in the car, which is so cool. And he's a Facebook ads manager. So his name is Jaroslaw. He has an Instagram account and he's using it to grow his business. David Hagitas, who's a CMO, he's using it to grow his business. He does marketing. We have a copywriter over here, Tim. He has like 20, 30 years of experience as a copywriter.
Hey guys, Tim Piccirillo, marketing consultant and copywriter. I want to give a little testimony.
And you guys can watch this yourself on this page, so I won't go through it fully. We have another copywriter, Antek, who's loving the tool. Founder of Speechify is loving using this tool. And so many more people. Like, we have so many people like literally starting to make videos on it.
Without knowing a thing about football, using 2 AI tools.
What's interesting is this girl was doing fantasy football with this and actually coming up with who to pick, which was crazy.
This secret AI tool will save you 100 hours of your time.
And so yeah, we have like people all over the world trying to make content and share it, which is so freaking cool. This is a really cool one.
100%. There's actually a way that you can do that. Check out getpoppy.ai, a tool that's like a whiteboard on steroids. Whether you're a developer.
So if this seems interesting to you guys and you feel like this would be valuable, I highly recommend you join using the link.